So what's a trigger? So when you experience something that may have been related to the event of the trauma and your mind goes off to try and find something associated with what it's experiencing, the first thing it will come across is this unfiled, unprocessed experience of the trauma and thinks, oh, I need to process this as a memory. This hasn't been filed yet. Let me bring it up so that we can process it. And this is then presented to the person in the form of a flashback where they re-experience everything. And this isn't something you can just snap out of because the brain can't distinguish that this isn't just a memory. It needs to be re-experienced in order to be filed as one. Because of this, sufferers of PTSD can have lots of triggers and they may not necessarily make sense. There is no such thing as a silly trigger. There can be external and internal triggers. So external triggers are things that you may be faced with on the outside. These can be things such as sounds, sights, smells are associated with trauma, people, locations or objects, things that could recall the trauma, significant dates or times like anniversaries of an event, especially if it was a reoccurring event. So some sufferers of DID experienced organized abuse that may have happened on specific birthdays or specific dates. This can be a trigger. That date can be an anniversary of trauma, which can be triggering. Anything in nature, even like weather conditions, temperature, conversations or media coverage about trauma, situations that make you feel claustrophobic or confined. So for example, if you're sat in a doctor's office or something like that. This can also include buildings, so like hospitals may be triggering to some people, or schools. These are just the most common. It can really be anything, and like I said, there is no such thing as a silly trigger. Internal triggers are things that are more like emotions or feelings. Any physical discomfort like fatigue, hunger, thirst, sickness, sexual frustration, any bodily sensations that might be reminiscent of trauma such as pain, touching the site of an old wound or injury, very strong emotions, especially feeling helpless or out of control or like you have no say in a situation can be very triggering. Mixed feelings towards people, so you may love someone very much but also feel a lot of resentment and anger and pain. Those feelings and that confusion can also be triggering because you think, why do I feel this way? Bam, memory. Yeah, not fun.